Hey everyone, Amy Shearer-Title here at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California, and I am so excited that I am about to talk to astronauts Scott Kelly and Kel Lindgren on board the International Space Station. We're going to be talking NASA's year in space and the journey to Mars. How do you think your time on board the ISS is a good analog for the challenges of a mission to Mars?
Well, I think, the duration it's going to take to get there is somewhere, probably around the 6-month, flight, and it depends on orbital mechanics and how much propulsion you want to use in the technology. But, from that perspective, I think it's pretty similar. Also, the life support system we have up here is, something that we're going to need to go to Mars, and I think we do a good job in, demonstrating that we have that capability. So, with the exception of what you do when you get on the surface and the entering into Martian atmosphere and the return from the surface, I think there are a lot of similarities.
Having to get all of the training that we need in order to do the repairs that we have on station, and to really have the mindset to be able to be in an enclosed space for a long duration of time with other crew members, to be prepared for that. That will definitely be something that's a part of a Mars mission.
The psychology of being in space must be very different. I can only imagine being able to see the Earth versus not seeing the Earth. How do you think that will differ for a crew going to Mars, the psychology of being in space?
Yeah, it will differ. There's no doubt about that. We can look out the window and see the Earth in all its beauty at different times of day. It's sometimes it's during the day, sometimes it's night. I don't think something that people really appreciate is that when you're going to Mars, you're in sunlight all the time. Every time you look out the window, it's not like you're going to see stars. You're going to see nothing, because the sun is going to be so bright on your whole trip there. So, after a few days and you can no longer see Earth, it's going to feel like you're really out in the middle of nowhere and you're on your own.
There's obviously a lot of things that I can only imagine you both miss about Earth. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge from a personal human level for a crew going to Mars, and what has surprised you being on the ISS that we might not think about when we're talking about a journey to Mars in terms of things you miss, things that are really going to make it hard for a crew being that far from home?
Well, one thing I miss here is the ability to leave. So even though this is an amazing place and it's a privilege to get to fly in space, you never get to go outside. You're not leaving, and that's something that the folks going to Mars are going to experience too. The one difference is, in an emergency, we can go home and we can be there pretty quickly if we really had to. I think the other big difference is going to be our ability to communicate with folks on the ground. It's a real advantage we have, both operationally and from a personal level, to be able to get on the phone and call people. But pretty soon after we depart Mars, you're going to get a time delay in communication such that it's not going to be usable. So, that's going to play a big, big impact on the psychology of the trip.
When you start a mission like this, a 5-month mission or a year mission like Scott is doing, and for those crew members that will eventually go to Mars, I think you start out with a mindset, though. You start out with, you anticipate kind of what the challenges are going to be. And I think one of the things that I've experienced up here that's surprised me a little bit is really how adaptable the human brain and psychology is. I think that you adapt to the conditions and quickly normalize to them. So the fact that communications will be a little bit delayed, I think you're still going to treasure that opportunity to talk with friends and family, even though there is a little bit of a delay. And I think that you're going to have this long trip, this really kind of set in your mind already. And so that will make things a little bit easier.
Well, that was pretty incredible. Astronauts are on board the International Space Station right now running experiments that are helping push us forward to Mars. Not only are they working on the technological elements, but the human elements, because a journey to Mars is hard.